Good to be standing here. Good to be standing, may I say. Looking at a story from MSN. MSN.com, that is. This is from the women's column at MSN. Lynn Harris wrote this column. It goes like this. Sandra, 45, a teacher in New York, meets what she calls a totally beguiling guy in a similar field. He helps her with a project. They start emailing, then phoning, having long talks over drinks. Thing is, she has a boyfriend. He has a wife. They're not having sex. But are they having an affair? Yes, it's an emotional affair or accidental affair, says Peggy Vaughn, author of The Monogamy Myth, a personal handbook for dealing with affairs. She says emotional affairs are most likely to affect the person who would never intend to cheat. According to the American Association of Marriage and Family Therapy, 15% of wives and 25% of husbands have had extramarital sex. Add emotional affairs and other non-physical intimacy, and the numbers go up by 20%. Wow, that's a lot. Many emotional affairs are a byproduct of increasingly intense and collegial workplace atmospheres. According to Bonnie Eaker-Weil, Ph.D., author of Adultery, the Forgivable Sin, Healing the Inherited Patterns of Betrayal in Your Family, over half of work friendships become something more. Over half. Dr. Shirley Glass, author of Not Just Friends, Protect Your Relationship from Infidelity and Heal the Trauma of Betrayal, says the stereotype is the VP of the corporation having a thing with the cute typist. But now the bonds between men and women working together are based on much more. Similar interests, social backgrounds in a highly charged atmosphere. The author of the piece for MSN continues, hey, we're not made of wood. What's wrong with a crush? I had flirtation with a guy at the restaurant, says Gail, 30, a Boston bartender. But it was part of the work environment. And no touching was clearly the rule. Outside of work, I didn't give him a second thought. The extra dose of feeling attractive actually helped my relationship with my boyfriend. Really? If you need that kind of help with your relationship, it isn't a relationship. It's heading down the toilet today. If you need to have an emotional affair with somebody else, if you need to be out having drinks and long phone conversations with somebody you're not married to or living with, in order to improve your relationship at home, that's a lousy, lousy relationship that you should get out of today. Today. Story continues. It says here, but no touching doesn't always mean harmless flirting. Liza, 39, a social worker in Philadelphia, said, I had a close relationship with a married man. Late-night calls, meaningful lunches, intense sharing. A male friend said, if you're not having sex, there's nothing wrong with it. Actually, say experts, there's plenty wrong. It doesn't matter that it could be worse, says Vaughn. There's deception going on. That's the risk of a seemingly harmless affair. The more you rationalize that it's okay, the more it escalates, and the more you're compelled to hide. You wind up depending on the other person more for daily peaks and perks, and that sucks the love away from you and your partner. What's toxic about an emotional affair is exactly what distinguishes it from a fleeting fun crush. Secrecy. The number one way to know if you're having an emotional affair is if you're hiding it from your partner, says Vol. When you end up out to dinner sitting kitty corner with that guy from work that you can't get out of your head, that's a date, says Lana, 29, a Toronto attorney. She says it from experience, by the way. Saying you have a boyfriend doesn't count. All he'll take from that is, then why is she out with me? You both know the illicitness makes it all the more exciting and tempting. And you know when you cross the line because it's that thing you'd never tell your boyfriend. That thing that would freak you out if he found out you did it. Are you crossing the line? And then it gives you a list of questions to find out if you're crossing the line. A little quiz. No point reading the whole quiz on the air, but... the story pretty much wraps up here. If you're on the slippery slope between fidelity and an emotional affair, it is possible and essential to move to firmer ground. And they go on to recommend that you stop doing it. All right, well, I'm wondering if you have a relationship like what was described here, so-called emotional affair. No sex, but like that one Liza says in the story, late-night calls, meaningful lunches, intense sharing. By the way, the guy who's engaging in that with you, he's open to hit it with you. He's just waiting for an opening. He's not following any rules. He just hasn't closed the deal yet. So I'm wondering if you have what they call here an emotional affair, where you're doing everything but having physical contact, sex specifically. Groping and nudity secondarily. You're just not doing that, but you're doing everything else. Becoming dependent on the other person, emailing each other 10, 15, 20 times a day, chatting with each other, talking on the phone all the time, and doing it behind the back of the person you are with. And your defense, should you get caught, would be, hey, we don't touch each other. Do you have a relationship like that right now? 1-800.
You're such an orgy pimp. I love your style, you know. What you teach is like how I live, you know. That's my lifestyle, thank God.
The Tom Leykis Show.
It's the Tom Leykis Show. At 1-800-5800-TOM. Thank you for tuning in. Sean, hello.
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
Okay.
Hey, yeah, this exact thing happened to me back in early April. My wife came home from work one day, said, oh, I need to talk to you. All right, so I sit down. What's up? Yeah, well, there's this guy I met in my AA meetings back in January, and, you know, he started hitting on me. I told him not interested, all this and that. But he was real persistent. I'm like, well, just tell the guy to buzz off, you know, what's the big deal? You know, never had a problem with that before. She goes, well, he just kept at it, and, you know, I think I love him, and, you know, I'm going to go be with him. And she goes, it hasn't been anything physical or anything, but I just think I want to go be with him, and boom, she got up and walked out. I mean, right then.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, walked out of that house. She left all of her clothes. She left, you know, one of our 3 cars there. I mean, you know, everything. Just split.
Did you get divorced?
It's in the process right now.
Wow. Did you ever talk to her again?
Yeah, I mean, she calls me every now and then. I'm like, you know, I still try and ask her what the hell's going on. You know, what is this all about? She doesn't want to talk. You know, she's acting like a 16-year-old girl. Not, you know, she's 45, almost 46 years old. You know, very attractive woman. You know, good job, very intelligent, but you know, she's acting like she's got her head up, you know, where the sun don't shine. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
You know, and I mean, this came literally out of the blue. And I try and ask her, you know, I mean, you know, I said, come on, sweetheart, this guy. You met this guy in your AA meeting? Yeah. Okay, and so the guy, and she even tells me, well, you know, I didn't realize how vulnerable and, you know, I was to this guy's, you know, lines of BS. I'm like, well, okay, you know, you didn't realize it back in January or February, but you're telling me now in April and May that you are, so why are you still with this guy? You know, the guy's a piece of crap, you know, just goes in and, you know, you're supposed to go to AA to get help for, you know, chemical addiction or alcoholism, it's not a singles bar, you know. And she don't want to talk about it, so I'm like, you know what? Go to hell. You know, I don't.
What do you need that for anyway? She's an alcoholic. She's got baggage to begin with.
Yeah, well, you know, when I met her back in '01, she'd been straight for about 3 years and really had her stuff together, and you know, so I realized then
Well, she needed to have her stuff together to suck you in. Once she sucked you in, she went back to drinking. And as any alcoholic, especially those in 12-step programs, will tell you, once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. You will always be an alcoholic. They're the first ones to tell you. Vivica on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello?
Is that a question or a statement?
No. Hi, Tom. Well, I know how you are. I've been having an emotional affair with a guy for about 15 years. We have never slept together, and I know he wants to, but he knows that I won't, and we still talk every week. He just, to me, he's like a girlfriend, but I know that he wants more, and I don't know why in God's earth that he's hung in there this long.
Because eventually you'll give in. You'll have a weak moment at some point.
I think that's already passed. I mean, I don't, I think he's waiting for me to get a divorce. But he's just like, for me, he's like a girl. But it's like almost talking to a girl, and he tells me all these things that I love hearing. He tells me what a great person I am. He just fills this void emotionally.
But if you have an emotional void, your existing relationship is in trouble.
Yeah, I think so, too.
I mean, why not just end your current relationship, whether or not you hook up with the other guy?
Because I'm in love with my husband.
But you have an emotional void. You just said so.
Well,
what kind of marriage is that?
Pardon?
What kind of marriage is it when you have an emotional void?
I don't know. That's why I'm calling, because I feel like...
If you need a guy on the side like that, yeah, your marriage is screwed.
Maybe that's what I needed to hear. I'd rather put more effort into saving my marriage.
But you're not. You're spending your time talking to this other guy. Time you could be spending on your marriage.
You're right.
And intimacy you could be spending on your husband.
I do, and I need to. I don't know. It's like we're at this almost a Mexican standoff. It's like one of us physically, I'm available to him whenever he wants, but the emotional part is missing. And
you have no interest in him physically. You just pretty much give him what he wants.
No, I do. No, that's wrong. I really love him physically. In fact, I try to instigate it a lot, and sometimes, I don't know if it's because we've been married so long, we have kids, and just sometimes we just don't spend enough time having fun, and I do need to put energy into not having this guy tell me what I want to hear, probably just because he wants to get laid.
That is why he does it. Trust me.
I know. He's made it very clear.
And that time you're wasting on him, you could be spending on your marriage.
Well, I will take your advice, and I don't always agree with you, but I agree with you on this one.
And that means you have to either dump the guy or get out of your marriage. You have to pick one.
I pick my husband.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vivica. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Tanya on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, what's going on, Tom?
Let's doing a radio show here, Tanya.
I know you are. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I know it's not your birthday today, but happy birthday.
Thank you.
Are you there?
No, I left the room. Can I take a message?
No, please talk to me. So I want to tell you what happened with me, and you tell me what you think. I've been married for about 5 years. I'm 34. My husband's very, very attractive. And a few years ago, an old fling from about 17 years ago, little high school sweetheart type things, they were intimate. She got pregnant. They had an abortion. She pops back into our life. We see her one day. She works for a reputable attorney.
Wait a minute. You see, this emotional affair, according to the story we read, does not involve physicality.
Say that again, Tom?
The emotional affair described in this article that I read on the air does not involve getting physical.
No. Wait, I'm not done.
No, but you're saying he had one of these, but then he got somebody pregnant.
No, that's what I'm saying. This happened a long time ago, and 17 years later now, she pops back in our lives, and he's wanting to spend time with her. They go out to lunch. She's buying him gifts. She's buying him candles. This and that, and it just got to the point where I felt that she was giving my husband something emotionally that I wasn't able to give to him. And
is that the case?
Well, I ended up talking with his mom, and she said, Tanya, what is it that she's giving him that you're not giving him? I said, I don't know.
Why didn't you ask him that?
Because I tried. He just kind of shut me out. We're kind of at a point where he didn't want to hear it or couldn't hear it. That was his best friend 17 years ago, and nobody was going to tell him otherwise. They grew up together. They have a history together. And I was like, fine, that's fine. You just go ahead and you do that. I'm just going to go hang out with my old best friend, which is a male. And he didn't like that. So finally, about 3 or 4 months ago, I said, you know what? I'm done with this. You pick her, or you pick me. And if you pick me, I don't want to see her or hear from her ever again. I mean, he had to literally choose.
So what did he choose? What did he choose?
He chose me.
He did choose you.
He did choose me.
So she's gone now?
She'll call. She called yesterday. She calls every blue moon. But the way things were going, I was trying to sever this for about 2 years. It was just really getting to me. I don't think a male, if he's married, should have a woman as a best friend. His wife needs to be his best friend. Do you agree with that?
As much as I think that women shouldn't have men as best friends.
I don't think so either. Not if they're married.
Yeah, because really there is a false premise there. This is not friendship based on just being pals. This is friendship based on the physical attraction of at least one of the two people.
You want to know what's really funny is he's very, very attractive. She's about 400 pounds.
She must give him something that he feels he's not getting from you.
Well, that's what I felt, and I really, really, really searched and soul-searched and was trying to figure out what was it I wasn't giving him. And, I finally figured it out. What she was giving him was the kindness, so I quit bitching. And she was giving him, accepting everything and said,
I think all women could benefit from what you just said. Stop bitching. Stop nagging. Stop complaining. If you have to bitch, nag, or complain, or compromise all the time on things, you're with the wrong person.
Exactly. And, I just noticed, she'd buy him these little stupid gifts, candles or little Zippo lighters and stuff. And I thought, that I'm going to do, those things that I quit doing. So I quit bitching and I started buying little gifts and started giving him the attention that obviously he wasn't getting from me. So I'm just really glad I gave him that, the ultimatum and that it worked for us because we have kids together. And so, anyway, it's a great story. So I just hope other women out there who are going through that don't ever put up with that, or a male for that matter. Male or woman should never put up with that, and they need to give their spouse an ultimatum.
Yeah, and be prepared for the other person to choose the emotional affair, by the way. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Kurt on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
How you doing, Tom?
I'm okay, Kurt.
I am the prime example of someone who's been listening to you for quite some time, and I thought you have great advice. However, I've always tried to go up my own way. And just last night, found out Dad was right. So,
oh boy,
pretty interesting situation for me. I'm a DJ, so I've gotten my fair share of the booty call. Mm-hmm. But I've also been in serious relationships, and I'm at an age now where I'm looking for that one person that I want to spend significant time with exclusively. And I met this one girl, thought she was a pretty cool chick. She kind of was a little flaky at first, but I called her up and I said, look, I'm not going to waste my time with you if you're not into what I'm into. And I just laid down the law for her, and she said, okay, yeah, sure, then I'm down for the cause. I said, all right, great. So we're hanging out, and over the course of week, found out that she was friends with my ex-girlfriend, which that relationship didn't go down too well, but I found myself hanging out with her over at my ex-girlfriend's house, which was completely fine because everything was all right, no drama or anything like that. Well, we get to my girlfriend's house, everything played out all right. There was this guy there that was hanging all over my ex-girlfriend, which, again, didn't bother me because water under the bridge. Well, last night I was supposed to hang out with my girlfriend, and some trouble happened last night. My roommate and I ran out of gas and got stuck on the side of the road for about an hour and a half, so I wasn't able to hook up with my girlfriend at the time that I wanted to. Well, after we got everything settled in, I stopped at my girlfriend's house, and this dude that was all over my ex-girlfriend was in my girlfriend's bed last night.
Mm-hmm. So what did you learn from this, Kurt?
Nice guys don't get anywhere, Tom.
That's right.
A nice guy.
That's right.
And you know what? I got to be the a-hole. I just don't get it. being the nice guy. I've tried it. It's worked sometimes, but not very often. I was engaged for 2.5 years. I was in the Navy. I went on an 8-month cruise for Operation Iraqi Freedom. Came back from an 8-month cruise and found a home pregnancy test in my bathroom trash can.
Yeah.
And it's not like she never emptied the trash the whole 8 months I was gone. So.
So when you confronted her about that, what happened?
Well, what happened actually was we're heading back from cruise. 3 days out from home port, we pulled into San Diego to drop off our air wing, and I checked my voicemail for the first time in 3 months. Well, there was a message from Planned Parenthood for my fiancée at the time saying that she needed to contact Planned Parenthood. And everybody knows Planned Parenthood doesn't call you back unless something's wrong with the pap smear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So 3 days out, right? So we get in 3 days later to home port. She's not even on the pier waiting for me. The last sailor off the boat, right? I call her up. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, what do you mean, what's going on? I said, where are you at? She says, what do you mean where I'm at? I said, you're not on the pier. She says, you're home? Yeah, I'm home. So anyway, she reluctantly comes, picks me up. We go to this dinner party. I don't say anything about it, right, because I'm really angry at this point that she wasn't even at the pier. So we get home after this dinner party, and I drop my bags and go to the bathroom to do my business, and there's a home pregnancy test sitting on the top of my trash can. So I go out, and I didn't say a word about it because the first thing she says to me once she gets out of the bathroom is, hey, I'm going to a bachelorette party. I'm like, hey, didn't I just get home from an 8-month cruise? Isn't the general rule when a sailor gets home, his girlfriend's supposed to take care of him, you know? I didn't want to touch her anyway because I knew about the Planned Parenthood phone call, so I just blew it off. We went to the wedding the next day, went to some friend's wedding. I sat her down at the reception, and I'm like, all right, so what's up with the home pregnancy test? She started bawling, Tom. She's like, oh, it's my best friend Cassie's. I'm sorry. I didn't want you to think it was mine. I just forgot to get rid of it and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, that's fine. I pretended to believe her, and then I said, oh, by the way, you have a Planned Parenthood appointment you need to make? Let me know how that goes. So I'm on duty 2 days later, and I call her up, and I'm like, hey, how'd that Planned Parenthood meeting go? She says, well, I have an STD. So what'd you get? She said, chlamydia. I said, how'd you get it? She said, well, I must have got it from you. I said, I'll show you my medical records. I've never had an STD. And so she was like, well, I must have got it before you. I said, that's impossible. We were pregnant at one point. We miscarried at 4 months. I said, I would have gotten it. It's one of the most easily transferable STDs. I said, you got it after I left. She never admitted it. Well, I kicked her out, and eventually she moved in with a sailor right behind me, who was the guy she cheated on me with. They got married, moved to Spain, and now she's pregnant with him. So, like, this nice guy thing, Tom, doesn't work anymore. And I hope the guys listening out there understands that I am probably one of the nicest guys you will ever meet. I'm very intelligent. I've got a lot going for me.
And look what happened to you.
Tom Leykis.
Okay.
1-800-5800-TOM. Tom.
I'm not married presently. I'm dating a single mom. You want to beat me up for that?
Have you had anal sex with her?
Well, I think that's a good form of discipline.
The Tom Leykis Show.
From Los Angeles, the Tom Leykis Show. Are you having what they call an emotional affair, which means you do everything but have sex with somebody else, other than the person you're married to or living with? Do tell. 1-800-5800-TOM. Use our telephone number. David, hello.
Hello?
Is that a question or a statement, David?
Hey, it's just David. How's it going, Tom?
I'm okay, David.
Yeah, definitely happened. I don't understand the whole emotional affair concept, I guess, is what I'm having a problem with, Tom.
Well, an emotional affair, according to the story that we read, is defined by this writer as a relationship in which you do everything but have sex with the other person. So you have drinks, you have coffee, you have lots of phone calls, lots of contact during the day. It's secret. Your wife or girlfriend isn't aware of the extent of the relationship. You just don't have sex.
All right, so what if the wife, girlfriend is aware that part, you know, maybe not to the extent like you said.
Well, according to the story, they may be aware that you have a friend. They may not be aware of everything you talk about or everything you do together.
Right, right. Because under the term of affair, I can only think of one thing, and I think we all know what that is.
Well, that's why they're calling it an emotional affair. It's everything but sex.
All right.
So do you have a relationship like that?
Yeah, I do, actually. I have a friend from about the past 12 years of my life.
Uh-huh.
So I was a friend going into my marriage.
And you have no physical interest in this woman at all?
No.
At all.
Be honest, Tom, me and my wife have a great relationship, great sexual relationship, great emotional relationship. So.
But there's nothing about the other person that she doesn't know.
No, actually. She knows I was almost, we got hooked up when we were younger, stuff like that, excuse me.
But she knows everything, the kinds of things you talk about, how much time you spend together, how often you write to each other, how often you talk to each other.
The phone calls, she probably doesn't know all the phone calls, no. How often we call,
Why not?
Just forget to tell her, I guess. It's just a common thing.
You wouldn't mind her knowing?
No, not at all.
And you don't do anything to hide it?
No, not at all.
Well, then it would not, then by definition, the definition of this writer of this piece, that would not be an emotional affair.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm in the clear here.
Well, there you go.
Other than that, I mean, it's sometimes these writers, I think that maybe they don't have it right in their own head.
I understand, David. Thank you for that. Chris on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
What's up, Tom?
Not much, Chris.
You know what? It's amazing how you can always seem to hit the nail right on the head. I'm not in one of these relationships, but I'm the victim of one, and she's going to be here in about a half hour to start picking up some of her stuff.
Did you dump that bitch?
Pretty much, man. I mean, it got to the point. Let me just give you a little background on it. I moved out here from Illinois. I've spoken with you about this before. I was on a couple times in the past. I moved my girlfriend out here to try to get her, get all of us started and get a better life. And we're on track. She's got a good job in L.A. We live in Newport Beach. Everything's running smooth. My brother was going to get married. We all became friends. That broke up. She stayed friends with my brother's ex-fiancé. And obviously me and my brother aren't going to hang out with her because I have loyalty to him, So she's been hanging out with this little, just a aggravating person. And the whole time, this girl's been telling her, well, Chris isn't good for you, blah, blah, blah. You should go see this guy at your work. You guys obviously get along very well. So they've been hanging out, talking back and forth. And now, I'm fed up with it. I'm like, that's it. Done.
How'd she react to that?
How'd she react? Well, Here's the thing. This is what I need your advice on. She keeps coming up with these bullcrap things like it's all my fault. I think she's just trying to ease her conscience,
It's your fault? Why?
She's not your fault, my fault.
That's what I'm saying. She says it's her fault or your fault?
She's saying it's my fault.
That's what I said. Like, why is it your fault?
I don't know. She'll come up with stuff like the other night. Okay, we go out to the bars, and I had to talk her into coming out because obviously we've been arguing a lot, and I'm trying to make it all work out and blah, blah, blah. And the whole night she ends up running around with her friends, ditching me, blah, blah, blah. And then the next day, or that night, she's like, you know what? You ditched me all night long, so I don't want to hang out with you tomorrow.
No, I mean,
I don't understand.
You know what? She's dumping you. You understand that.
What's that?
She's dumping you. And she's trying to put you in the position of appearing that you've dumped her so she can be the victim here. You understand that.
Right, exactly.
Right. So.
Exactly. And I'm okay with it, because I'm just happy that she's got, all of her stuff together and blah, blah, blah. I wish she would just admit it, though. You know what I mean? If this is what she wants, if she wants to go off with this guy, why can't she just say, you know what, yeah, this isn't working out, we argue all the time.
Because she doesn't want to get into a big screaming match with you about it. She wants to do what she wants to do.
Yeah.
So, don't give her any money on the way out the door. Just kick her the hell out and be done with it.
Well, no. See, both of our names are on the lease right now. We have 3 months left, and I think she's coming over here to break the lease tonight.
Uh-huh.
And leave me out on my ass, dude.
You mean she's going to kick you out of the apartment?
Well, I don't know if she can do that, though.
She can't if both your names are on the lease.
Can I take her name off the lease and stay here for the remainder of it?
Only with her permission.
Damn.
Well, you could, if she leaves, she probably won't pay the rent.
She's not paying the rent. I'm paying the rent.
What do you mean you're paying the rent? Why did you put her on the lease if you're paying the rent?
No, I paid the rent this month.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, if she leaves and you're still there paying the rent, the landlord won't kick you out.
No.
Nope.
But can she legally, come into the apartment all the time? And, Can I take her name off the lease and still keep the place?
With her permission.
Damn it.
Now, what you could do is try to negotiate a new lease where, like, let's say she breaks the lease and you sign a new 1-year lease under your name only.
Yeah.
You could ask for that.
The way that we got this place was through both of our credits.
Yeah, well, you could
always... you know what, though? In the long run, all we've done for the past 6 months, ever since we've been living together, is just bitch and moan at each other all day long.
Well, I tell you not to move in with these chicks.
Jobs, you know, I come home from work, and all it is, as soon as I walk in the door, it's just crazy yelling and screaming the whole time. So, I mean, basically that's a fourth job. My fourth job is arguing with someone.
Did you live with her in Illinois before you came to L.A.?
She stayed with me for a while, but
you never lived together.
No, well, she was at my place all the time.
And the reason you live together is what now?
The reason that we moved in together? Yeah. I moved out here, and I was staying with my older brother, and she lived out there, and she said, you know what, I want to leave, I want to come out there, I miss you, blah, blah, blah. And I missed her, too. So I said, yeah, come on out.
Well, she could have moved to Orange County, gotten a roommate, and gotten her own place.
Yeah, but she didn't know anybody. And to tell you the truth, neither did I. All I knew was my brother.
Yeah, but there are agencies that help you do that. For future reference, don't ever move in with somebody.
Yeah.
Just because you need a roommate.
Yeah.
That's a bad reason to do it.
Well, bottom line, it was going okay until she got this job and started.
No, it was going okay until she moved in with you. Then it wasn't going okay.
No, I mean, for a while we worked together really good. We got all of our stuff on track. We got good jobs. We got a lot of friends. Everything was going smooth. And then as soon as Brian and his fiancée split up and she started hanging out with her all the time, and she started spending longer time at work, hanging out with this guy more often.
Well, she's clearly not too upset about leaving you. She's clearly happy about it.
What's that?
She's clearly happy about you kicking her out.
Yeah, but that's the thing. She's screaming and making it seem like it's all my fault.
That's the idea. She wants it to be your fault. That's what I said to you earlier. She wants it to appear to be your fault, but she's not unhappy at the opportunity to get out.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. The Tom Leykis Show.
800-5800-TOM. Joseph, hello.
Hello, Tom?
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's up, man? I listen to you all the time. I just had to say for all them soft guys, man, y'all need to stop, man, because I'm 20 years old going to the military, Marines, and I ship out next month. And my wife, or my future wife, she's in the Army.
Wait, you have a future wife and you're 20?
I'm 20, but...
Strike one.
I don't strike one, but check this out. I went to Missouri to go see her, man, and she looked different, you know what I mean? She wasn't what I expected to see, right? But she had all these guys that think that they were her boyfriend during the whole time, but you were talking about how it was emotional, you know what I mean, relationship with these guys. And now she's at a schooling out in Arizona, and the guys still try to hit on her, but they met me, you know what I mean? And I'm over here in California, Pasadena to be exact, working blue collar, waiting for me to hit the military because I couldn't go because I had a felony. And I don't know what to do. You know, she wants to marry me this month coming up. I have a son with her, and I think she's pregnant.
Why did you have a child with her?
Oh, because her dad, man, her dad kicked me out of the house when I used to go over there a lot, saying that I robbed this house, but it was never true, man.
So you had to have a child?
No, it just happened that way because I was...
No, it didn't just happen. You made it happen.
It happened like that.
No, you made it happen.
Oh, I can't take no, you know what I mean?
How did your sperm get inside her?
From banging her, man.
Yeah, but how about a condom, pal?
I had them. It didn't work, man. It's
No,
one of those
you were not using a condom, pal. You were not using it, were you? Were you?
Well, I got to say 40% of the time I was, but...
40% of the time is not enough!
Come on, man. California ain't no one using them, man.
What do you do? Yeah, I guess, how many illegitimate kids are being born in California?
A lot.
Yeah, and why did you let that happen?
Because I thought I loved her. Oh, I do love her, man.
You're too young for this, and now you're finding out you're too young for this. Aren't you?
I don't know what to do, man. I'm just over here. I'm busting I work like 13, 14-hour days, man, just to...
You flushed yourself down the toilet, pal. You flushed yourself down the toilet. I just can't believe how many guys call in and tell me stories like that. Our email address, tom@blowmeuptom.com.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.